Hey friends, it's Mike, Talent Boulevard. Hey, I'm going to talk about contracts, and this is the first of two videos. This video is going to focus on employment contracts. The second one will talk about agent contracts. So, first of all, I think we've been thinking about contracts wrong for a long, long time. Many times when you're signing the contract, you're thinking about what you're getting. Um, it's really about what you're giving up. When you put your name on any kind of contract or agreement, you're giving up the rights or you're giving up resources, and it needs to be commensurate with what you're getting. So think about when you sign something, you're giving up something very valuable, and need to be negotiating something valuable in return. So, in employment contracts, many times you feel like you can't negotiate, or if you do, you're negotiating the wrong things, or you're taking the wrong approach, or it just scares you to death, and you're going to hire an agent to do that and help you through that. Or conversely, hire an attorney to help you work through it. I'm going to go through a live contract right now and take you through the things that I would focus on when you're talking to a future employer or you're working with your agent on a contract, right? So here we go. This contract is one of the big media companies. It's not an O&O, but it's one of the larger independents. We're going to go through piece by piece, and I apologize for the length of this video, but I think it's important. So first off, all these employment agreements start with employment and term. I wouldn't sign anything over 2 years right now. When we talk about giving something with a signature, what you're giving up in that third year when you sign a 3 or 4 or 5 year contract is an opportunity to make 10 or 20% more in that third year. So the only way I would sign a 3 year is if there's some kind of bonus or retention signed in that third year that compensates you for what you're giving up and what you're losing. Duties. This is about the position title, the responsibilities at a really high level. I would get as specific as you possibly can. So, reporter day side, reporter night side, morning reporter. I would try and get very specific as to what is in this agreement. And if they're going to promote you, they're going to promote you outside of the very specific title that's in this duties piece. You have the opportunity to sign a new employment agreement, which is great because it's going to be at a higher compensation level than the previous one. So when you get to duties, I'm looking at this one and it says, anchor, reporter. I'd like to get a little bit more specific on that, okay? Next, compensation, and you just need to know the ranges. You need to understand where you fit, your experience level, your market experiences, where you fit in a range, and then make a fact-based case on why you want more money with fact-based examples, either other markets or other experiences you've had, or your experiences and where it sits on a 0 to 20 years worth of experience. I would say watch out for anchoring. When you're negotiating any contract, anchoring is when somebody throws out that first number. So whether it's a 3 year or whether it's $58,000, that first number that comes out is the anchor. Never take the anchor, never negotiate from the anchor. Negotiate from where your value is, regardless of what gets thrown out as an anchor. So, if you want to know more about anchoring and negotiation, I can help you with that. So here we go. Covenant not to compete. You can negotiate the terms of this. Most of the times for the non-compete, it's going to be 12 months, and for the non-solicit, it's going to be 24 months. Get very specific here if you can. Non-compete as an anchor in the DMA or as a reporter, so that if you change roles within the market, you're able to move up within the same market. And let me tell you about non-competes too, is there's a bunch of federal guidelines that are trying to be pushed through in legislation to ban non-competes. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen this year. Probably not going to happen next year. Based on the talent acquisition conference calls I've had, they're looking 2 and 3 years down the road before we see that. So when it comes to non-competes, very specific. The better, the more specific, the better for you. The 12-month thing, I'd try and negotiate 6, quite frankly. May or may not go for that, but 6 feels a little bit right. I think, certainly in smaller markets, it should be, maybe 3 to 6 months in terms of the non-compete. Non-solicit is always 24 months. Try and get that to 12. The non-solicit piece hardly comes into play unless you're soliciting clients away from competitors to come, and then you can find yourself in trouble. Work product, I would say, watch when it comes to work product and confidential information and trade secrets. Watch technology especially. I've been reading about a lawsuit that's going back and forth between one of the large O&Os and an on-camera talent. And the on-camera talent slipped a piece of proprietary technology in their reel that before it was released nationally. And that got them in trouble. That is now part of a lawsuit. Something as simple as a banner on a reel clip. So be very careful about work product and trade secrets. That could nullify your employment agreement, and you could be sued. Termination by employer. Hey, look at, I'm reading this. Employer should have the right upon its option, sole discretion to terminate the agreement. You think you're getting 3 years, you're getting whatever the time length is at your employer's discretion. That's why you always got to be prepared to make that jump. You got to have a current real resume. You got to be ready to go if you need to. Wardrobe and appearance, those wardrobe allowances, hair and makeup, those things have gone by the wayside largely in the last 5 years. I would always ask for something, see if you can get a little bit of help. Or, there's a lot of co-op arrangements with sponsored shows where you can get reduced fees. Here's the most difficult point of any contracting and the bone of contention, and that is upon termination if the employee leaves at your discretion. So it usually might be a set fee. I've seen one of the large companies have a calculation based upon remaining months. I've seen the one I'm looking at here is about liquidated damages, and it's got a very specific dollar amount. What you want is to see how this is going to be calculated. The damages would be calculated if you term your contract beforehand, and you want to know what the specific dollar amount is. Some of them have a very vague language, and that can get you in trouble. You can leave, and then they can calculate damages based upon some vague language in a contract. You are signing a legally binding agreement here. So whatever is in this, when the remedies for breach of contract, you're going to have to live up to. And here's why it's super, super important to have a conversation with your news director or general manager before you consider leaving. And that is, in this particular agreement that I'm looking at, it identifies that they can seek damages from third parties for inducing or facilitating a breach. And this is why news directors and general managers don't poach talent. This is why agents don't participate in breach of contracts. This is why I'm very careful in talking about having some collaborative conversation with the management of your station before you consider breaching. Because quite frankly, I could be sued for talking to you about breaching. Always talk to your manager if you're considering to breach your contract, and try and find some resolution before you go ahead and do this. And I don't care what the social media boards say. You can leave. It's non-compete. You'll be fine. They never sue. I'm telling you, you are legally bound to this agreement, and it's at the sole discretion of your employer as to whether they're going to sue you and come after you for liquid damages, and your agent and the news director where you're going. I've seen deals fall apart because there isn't the right kind of conversations before these remedies and breaches. Payola, there's a conflict of interest in all these contracts. I'd be very careful about this. I would try and get very specific language about what they consider a conflict of interest. Obviously generating revenue or income from competitors, but I would try and get specific roles and responsibilities as to what a conflict might be. Then there's assignability. Your station's sold, your contract's going to be assigned to the new employer because it's in your agreement. It says this agreement can be assigned. I would ask to slip in some language about mutual consent. So this contract agreement can be assigned upon mutual consent of talent and employer. That way, if the station's sold and you don't want to go with it, you have an option to get out of your contract. And of course, mutual consent means they have to consign as well. So the new employer may not want you. There may not be mutual consent upon assignability. So, those are the things in the employment contract. I work one-on-one with all the Talent Boulevard clients about contracts, the responsibilities, and how to talk about remedies if you're considering breaching them. There are ways that work for both parties, and you just need to find that. So let's go back to the very beginning, the most important part of this very long video, and that is every contract negotiation, every contract is about gives and gets. So when you sign a contract, you're giving something up, you need to get something in return that's commensurate in value. There you go. I hope you have a great day wherever you are. Hopefully you're staying warm. We're recording this video in the first week of January, and the Middle South is getting hammered with snow. I hope you found this video helpful. DM me, give me some feedback here below in this YouTube comments. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.